If I were in Burma, I have been sentenced to 25 years. My friends there are languishing this long-term imprisonment. My close friend, after 25 years, extended another 7 years because he listened to shortwave radio. We have 485 members of parliament elected in 1990 election. The situation today is that 85 already died, 32 in exile, including myself, and over 100 have been disqualified or forced to sign the resignation. And 3 of the members of parliament died in prison. One of them, my friend, he was arrested, he died a couple of days later, and the authorities announced that he was dead because of cancer. His wife, in the funeral, distributed a paper friends with a short poem, "Should it be cancer, down with cancer." Not only that, 2 members of cabinet of our Dr. Sewen's government, they are not safe to free to travel outside. One of the cabinet ministers was stabbed to death and one was shot to death. Hopefully I am safe in Canada. Out of 32 members of parliament, I have to point out that we have been living in different countries. 1 in Netherlands, 2 in Oslo, 4 in India, 4 in Thailand, 9 in Australia, and 12 in United States of America. I wonder, will Canada accept some more members of parliament to enjoy your freedom life here?
We're launching the Parliamentary Friends of Burma group for Canada. You know, with Darfur and Congo and Zimbabwe and Afghanistan, sometimes Burma gets forgotten. So we're going to try and do what we can to make sure that it's on the roadmap. And it's amazing considering all the meetings parliamentarians have to go to. There's already 25 members of Parliament and the Senate signed up. I'd like to thank Melissa over here with the camera and Mitch and my office that have done a lot of work on this.
It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of the government and the company of many distinguished combatants for human dignity throughout the world, and particularly in Burma. I would like in particular to welcome to Canada the members of Parliament, Burmese members of Parliament, and members of the government in exile, particularly Dr. Sein Win, who I had the opportunity to meet yesterday, Prime Minister in exile. I'd like to commend my colleague Mr. Bagnell for the creation of the Parliamentary Friends of Burma. This will help to bring to the fore in the parliamentary deliberations the ongoing tragedy of the situation in Burma. I'd like to also acknowledge the great efforts of the Friends of Burma, a very dedicated NGO. As you know, Canada is deeply concerned by the situation in Burma, which continues to deteriorate. Forced relocation, rape by the military, extrajudicial killings, forced labor, the use of child soldiers, arbitrary arrests and detentions, and the persecution of ethnic minorities are common occurrences. Tough operating conditions, including restricted access to vulnerable populations, have led some international NGOs to leave Burma, calling for support for the democracy movement in Burma, support for targeted sanctions on the junta in Burma, as well as vigorous Canadian support for multilateral action at the United Nations.
Canada's done all sorts of things, as the government has said here. We've had trade sanctions, export sanctions, export controls, writing Canadian businesses telling them not to go there, and a number of other things. But there's much more to do, and that's why we as Canadian parliamentarians could not stand by when there's over 1,000 political prisoners, when there's tens of thousands of forced labor, which you saw today, when there's many injured by landmines, when there's over 1 million internally displaced people. It's unacceptable that 3,000 villages have been destroyed, that over 5 million refugees have had to leave the country, that there's a total disregard for human rights.
To our friends who are here from the Burmese democratic movement in exile, we as Canadians, you inspire us with your bravery, with your courage, with your determination, with your championing human dignity. You hold up a light of hope to the entire world, to especially the oppressed populations of your home country,